right, and over here at the 9 o'clock position on ESV Sanshorn Miss, we have our pink Protoss player from the team ZeNEX. It is Avenge, and he is looking to avenge the 2 consecutive losses by his team to this guy over here on the right-hand side of the map, our blue Protoss player from FXO CIS. It is Elbegast.
Yes, indeed, and ZeNEX.Avenge has quickly become one of the better players on ZeNEX. He's got a lot of talent. He tends to be a little bit more of an aggressive Protoss player. If I remember right, he was a Protoss that used to be Explosion NL, I believe,
yes,
on the ladder.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, that's right. So he's it's kind of the interesting thing. There's some players that are just really dominant on the ladder for a while before they actually get on a team, and they have a very different style. You know, I mean, team house practice in Korea is very structured. You know, the coach sits you down, he's like, all right, you're going to practice this against this person. You need to work on this. Whereas on the ladder, you're constantly playing against a multitude of different things. You learn some kind of weird out there builds.
Yeah.
And so that makes Avenge a very unpredictable opponent. And in a matchup like PvP, unpredictability is kind of what you can thrive on. So this should be an interesting game. I'm curious to see what he's going to choose to do.
12 gate for Avenge, 13 gate for Elbegast. So Elbegast going with the same approach that he did in his earlier PvP against Brain. And we'll see what follows for these 2 players here in a bit. The real tell will be Chrono Boost and whether we see a 3-stalker opening. So,
yep, that's right.
But yeah, all pretty standard PvP here. This one, you know, this map does not lend itself to very long PvPs. It lends itself really well to Blink Stalker play because there's so much cliff line to be able to get in. Blink directly into the main. Very easy to pull that off. So a lot of times you'll even see 4-gate Blink with Robo. It comes a little bit later, but of course you can navigate around those sites so easily.
Yeah, it can be quite strong. I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to play any games on the test map, the Antigua Shipyard map that Blizzard released?
I've not yet. No, I've read plenty about it. But
I haven't done it either. I need to do that because it pertains to changes to the race I play right now.
That is true. What do you think about those? I just real quick, just take as an aside.
For those of you who don't know, Blizzard released a map. It's a version of Antigua Shipyard to go and play on BattleNet that has some proposed changes for Zerg. One of them is that Overlords are a bit faster.
Yep.
Queens start with 50 energy instead of 25, so that means you can put down a creep tumor immediately as well as inject right away.
Yeah.
And I believe there's one other change, but I can't remember it right off the top of my head.
It's the observers are now down to 30-second build time. I know the Protoss change. I don't know the Zerg changes.
That Protoss change as well. Yeah. But and that observer change could change PvP quite a bit in terms of DTs and things like that. But anyway, going back to the Zerg changes, I think the big one is going to be Queen starting with 50 energy.
I know.
Just to be able to spread creep that much faster is going to be a huge deal. That's kind of one of those things early in the game where you need to forego and inject a lot of times to get your creep going if you want to get it going really fast. Some Zergs even just delay connecting their bases, things like that, for quite a while into the game. So this is going to eliminate all of that. I think that's going to be definitely the biggest change. I'm curious to see kind of what comes out of it. I'm excited about it. The Overlord speed increase, too, is very nice as well. I mean, it takes on some maps like Ohana, for instance, it takes a long time for your Overlords to get over there and get scouting into their bases. You can kind of miss some timings a little bit because of that.
Yeah.
And, so that'll help a little bit with it, too. So, I don't know. I'm not going to say that it was an absolutely needed change or anything like that, but it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to kind of play around with it a little bit.
Okay, a couple of things about the game, and then I'll jump in and give my 2 cents as well. As 3 gates in total coming up now for Elbegast. He is chrono boosting out that warp gate technology pretty quickly and producing a fair number of units. His opponent did decide to start with a 3-stalker opening, then moving into a couple additional rounds of stalkers afterwards. We'll see if he ends up putting down a Twilight Council right away and going up to Blink himself. What he's going to do looks like putting on a little bit of pressure, at least going to test the front here for a second. But Elbegast does now have that, oh no!
I hate my own pylon!
Yeah, he does. Oh. The Stalker's more important, though. So let's see here as, it looks like Avenge is just going to try and make his way up right now. The Zealot dies very quickly, and he will be able to get out of the range of the other Stalkers. Avenge trying to quickly make his way back into it, but the Zealot itself doing quite a bit of damage, and Avenge going to lose a little bit here.
Yeah, that did not turn out very well. Very bold move to just kind of run in.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a very costly scout.
But anyway, regarding the patch changes, though, I tend to defer to the opinions of the pros quite a bit, and Grubby actually made a very interesting point on his Twitter afterwards, where he said that if you give Protoss Zerg the extra speed with the Overlord, a lot of Protoss is relied on hiding what you have until the last possible second and being able to surprise a Zerg player, and you kind of lose that when you don't have that when you have that increased Overlord speed. So building that in plus the absurd amount of creep spread, you're going to need to give Protoss some sort of another early game option or something like that, or a way to be able to move into the mid game on a little bit more equal footing. So
I haven't actually, like I said, I haven't actually jumped into the map myself yet.
Yeah.
I wonder just how much faster the Overlords are, because it didn't seem like a very big speed increase. It was something like 0.4 or something to like.
It's about a 25% speed increase though when you add it up. Yeah,
really?
because it goes from about 0.4 to about 0.5. So.
Wow, I'm bad at math.
Yeah.
That is a good speed increase. All right, well, we'll see what happens.
All right, and we actually have 4-gate Robo Bay coming out now for Elbegast. So this is very resource intensive off of one base, but of course he will be able to produce quite a staggering amount of units. His opponent, though, Avenge, is expanding, so he lost a lot of those units at the beginning of the game. Elbegast going for a little, or I'm not even going to say a little bit stronger one base attack. This is an incredible amount of stuff to invest in off of one base.
I actually really like that Elbegast is doing this. He's kind of like, all right, well, you just lost a lot of gateway units. I didn't really lose that many. Therefore, I can be a little bit greedy on my teching here a little bit. I can kind of focus a little bit more on Colossi and skip a warp in round or two, get that little edge in army size, and I think that's going to pay off. Like we just saw, I mean, with Avenge expanding like that, that's going to make his army even smaller, even after losing things like that. So depending on the timing that Elbegast wants to use for his move out, it could be a very deadly attack for Avenge to have to deal with.
Now, Avenge is sitting on a very defensive position, so he's going to try and make the best of that initial supply disadvantage. He is up by 9 workers, so take that out of the overall supply, and you can see that he is a little bit back in terms of army, quite a bit back in terms of army, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But he's going for mostly sentries, mostly immortals as well, so he is going to have an anti-Colossus force, but will it be enough? This is going to be a staggering amount of things making its way out from Elbegast.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to see him just kind of scout for some pylons for now, things like that. Lone Immortal just being brave all by himself.